The Wedding of the Jinn in Ramadan, a Moroccan tale. In the heart of Morocco, nestled between the rugged Atlas Mountains and the dense cedar forests, lies a small village shrouded in mystery. The villagers live simple lives, bound by traditions and old tales whispered from generation to generation. But among these tales, none is more feared and revered than the legend of the Wedding of the Jinn, a haunting story that unfolds during the sacred month of Ramadan. A forbidden journey. It was a time when the days were filled with the scent of freshly baked bread and the melodious recitation of the Quran. The village, though humble, was alive with the spirit of Ramadan. Among its residents was Yusuf, a young shepherd known for his reckless curiosity. Unlike others, Yusuf often wandered deep into the forests, ignoring the elders' warnings about venturing too far after sunset. One evening, as the village prepared for tearaway prayers, Yusuf decided to take his sheep to graze a little farther than usual. The cool night breeze carried the echoes of distant howls and rustling leaves, but Yusuf, stubborn as ever, ignored the ominous signs. He had heard the stories, about spirits roaming free at night, about unseen beings conducting their affairs parallel to humans, but he never truly believed them. A strange encounter. As he wandered through the dimly lit forest, he noticed something peculiar, a faint, flickering glow in the distance. It wasn't the usual lanterns used by villagers. This light shimmered unnaturally, almost like it was floating. His curiosity got the better of him, and he followed it deeper into the woods. What he saw next sent chills down his spine. An entire wedding celebration was taking place in the middle of the forest. Dozens of figures, dressed in lavish silk garments, moved gracefully under a canopy of glowing lanterns. The sound of drums and flutes filled the air, but something about the music was otherworldly. It was neither joyful nor sad, but hypnotic, drawing him in like a moth to a flame. At the center of it all was a bride, veiled in golden embroidery, her hands adorned with the most intricate henna designs he had ever seen. But there was something unsettling about her. Her feet did not touch the ground, and her eyes, when they met his, were not human. A dangerous invitation. Before Yusuf could turn and flee, a tall, shadowy figure approached him. It was an elderly man, or at least, it seemed so at first. His beard was long and white, but his eyes glowed an eerie shade of amber. "You are our honored guest," the man said in a voice that was both welcoming and commanding. "Join us in our celebration." Yusuf felt a strange force pulling him forward. Every part of his being screamed at him to run, yet his feet refused to move. It was as if the air around him had thickened, trapping him in place. A servant handed him a silver goblet filled with a sweet, aromatic liquid. "Drink," the elder urged, his eyes never leaving Yusuf's. It was then that Yusuf remembered his grandmother's warnings: never eat or drink anything if you suspect you are among the jinn, for once you do, you may never return. Summoning every ounce of strength, he clenched his jaw and whispered a quiet Ayatul Kursi under his breath. The moment he did, the entire scene before him shuddered, as if the world itself had glitched. The music became distorted, the glowing lanterns flickered violently, and the guests' faces twisted into something unnatural. The bride let out a wail, her veil flying back to reveal a face that was both beautiful and terrifying. Her eyes burned like embers, and her smile was far too wide. The escape. Yusuf did not wait another second. His legs, now free from the invisible force, carried him as fast as they could. He ran through the forest, branches slashing his arms and legs, but he dared not stop. Behind him, the wails of the bride and the angry shouts of the guests echoed like a storm. As he reached the edge of the village, the sound ceased. The forest behind him was silent, as if nothing had ever happened. He collapsed onto the ground, gasping for air, his heart pounding against his ribs. When he finally returned home, his mother gasped at his disheveled appearance. His grandmother, upon hearing his story, nodded solemnly. "You were lucky," she whispered. "Had you taken even a sip, you would have been lost to them forever." That night, as Yusuf lay in bed, the sounds of distant drums still echoed in his mind. He never wandered into the forest at night again. And every Ramadan after that, when the elders warned of the wedding of the Jinn, he listened.